Welcome to It's On Halifax with your hosts, Mark Adam and Pat King. It's On Halifax is brought to you by A2 Canada and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.
I am here at Hal-Con. I am your host, Mark Adam, for It's On Halifax. We're here at the morning exercise, which is very exciting. These guys are doing superhero exercises. Earlier they were doing some Superman, Green Arrow, or Hawkeye, depending on whose bow and arrow you prefer. Could be Robin Hood for all I know. There are so many events happening today. We're going to try to get to them all. So we're here with a couple of visitors. It's Two-Face and Poison Ivy. How are you?
Great.
Excellent.
Excellent. Who did your makeup?
This one did.
Excellent. Who did you? Who did yours?
I did myself.
So you're all over the makeup. You just, yeah, right on. So big Batman fans, I would take it?
Yep.
Yep.
And you're standing in line to get autographs from John Rhys-Davies?
Absolutely.
That's for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's your favorite role he had?
Gimli.
That's whatever. I liked him as the professor in Sliders.
Yeah, can't say I've seen it, but
Sliders, Jerry O'Connell. You got to watch it. If you're a John Rhys-Davies fan, it's excellent. He makes fun of Jerry O'Connell a lot, which makes me happy.
okay.
Excellent. What's your favorite thing about coming here this weekend? What's going to be the most exciting thing you're going to do all weekend?
I'd have to say it's just like getting dressed up and just coming around and seeing everybody else doing the same thing. You know, it's just a lot of fun just to basically geek out for the weekend.
For me, it's getting dressed up.
I'm sitting with Manu Intiraymi. He's better known as Icheb from Star Trek Voyager. How are you finding the con so far?
So far, so good. The town is gorgeous. I really like Halifax. Got the college town atmosphere. Is there colleges around here?
There's 5 major universities in Halifax.
There we go. I knew I was catching on to something like that.
When you say college, you mean drinking, don't you?
Well, yeah. I went out last night and I saw a lot of people hanging out, partying in the streets. I went, okay, there's something going on here. Students, maybe. Yeah.
Where did you end up going, might I ask?
I just walked outside. I don't even know what street I was on, but I walked past some bar called Dirty Nelly's, I guess.
The Irish pub?
Yeah. And then down that street where Lord Nelson Hotel's on, the one next to it. I don't know.
The Spring Garden Road.
I think so.
Right on, right on. Yeah, we got a lot of bars here. That's one of our claims to fame is we have more bars per capita than any other city in Canada.
And that, what's it called? Poutine?
Poutine.
Oh my God, that stuff's amazing.
So you've never had that before?
No, never heard of it.
You must never have gone to Quebec.
No. I've been to other parts of Canada, but not recently, so didn't see it in Vancouver, but maybe I just wasn't looking.
It's not as popular in Vancouver yet. Give it a little while. It's catching on. When you put gravy and cheese on fries, it's a winning combination.
Yeah, and mine had some like burger in there too. It's good.
So clearly you were drinking if you got into the poutine. So fair enough. Have people recognized you just walking through the con yet?
Yeah, sure.
You look a lot more mature than you did as the kid on, you're basically the Wesley Crusher character of...
That's insulting.
I love Will Wheaton, to be honest. I do.
He's a great guy, but I guess I see the similarities. Same age. I wasn't quite as geeky as old Wesley was, though.
Well, no, you were Borg rescued. Like, it was a totally different... You were a different character.
Will's a great guy, though, man. He's a good dude. I don't mean to be offensive to him either. Recently, we've done some work recently. Last year, I was the main villain on One Tree Hill. I was one of the bad guys. It's a straight soap opera instead of a space soap opera. I was in J. Edgar last year. I've got a movie called Fortress that's out on Blu-ray and DVD right now. Upcoming, I've got a movie called Ben Troubles, and another film called Pieces coming up next year.
Ben Troubles, what's that about?
Ben Troubles is a dark comedy about a kid that finds a pair of magic blue jeans that create money. It's like a fast-paced kind of Guy Ritchie type of romance.
I'm here with cartoonist and author of Star-Crossed Online, Joel Duggan. How are you?
Very well, sir.
Excellent. How are you enjoying the con?
It's fantastic so far.
Has it been really a lot more exciting than you even thought, or?
Absolutely. We had a great day yesterday. Lots of nice people coming by the table. A couple people picking up artist editions of the book, which is very flattering. I gave a fun talk with Mike Holmes and Mark Oakley yesterday about crowdfunding, which is how the book was actually made possible, which is even more exciting to pass that knowledge on to other artists that are looking to do that. And then the highlight yesterday was last night at the Stargazer soiree. Myself, my girlfriend, and some other friends were hanging out and chatting with John Rhys-Davies for maybe 45 minutes. And he wouldn't let us leave. which was hilarious.
That is flattering in and of itself.
Made my evening. It was really, really exciting.
I'm actually a fan of your comic.
Well, thank you.
I read it online. I share it every once in a while on my Twitter feed. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that come up every once in a while. When you see the hashtag Starcrossed, that's what that is.
Cool. Fantastic. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
I see you got some buttons here. You got all kinds of cool stuff.
As part of the crowdsourcing project that I did to fund the print run of the book, I offered buttons, sketches, some T-shirts that have not been printed yet. But they're more the T-shirts are more of an exclusive for the Indiegogo campaign.
I am here with the Master Chief. How are you doing?
Very well. It's been a blast here at Hal-Con so far.
Excellent. This suit is amazing. You made this all yourself by hand.
Correct.
That is, I can't get over that. How did you make all this stuff? Like, what is it made from?
Well, at the moment, it's mostly the foam that they use on tiles, floor mats and stuff like that, with a bunch of other stuff, plastic and whatnot. But it's a continuously evolving thing with different materials, and as you learn new methods, you'll change a part or build a new one.
And I can hear you. It's like you have a microphone built into your suit with some speakers and everything.
Yeah, the speakers are right here, and then of course the mic is in the helmet with me here.
That is absolutely amazing. You made the helmet from a motorcycle helmet, I'm assuming.
Well, no, the helmet started from paper.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a process they call pepicure. It's almost like origami. You make the shape out of paper, and then you use any one of different hardening materials. I used a 2-part liquid plastic to make it hard, and then getting a lot of comments on the visor. The visor is actually 3 layers of motorcycle visor.
Wow, 3 layers.
3 layers.
Is that so that it's absolutely not?
That's right. I'm in here and I can see you. It's like wearing sunglasses inside is what it's like.
So it's everything's dark, but it's perfectly visible.
It's the form over function thing. That's right.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Is it hard to get on and off?
It takes about 20 minutes. It's another learning process. Once you've figured out, it's called strapping. Once you've figured out a process for that, I can actually get into this by myself. The first versions I couldn't, but I figured out where all the things need to be, and I can put it on by myself.
You're part of a group called Maritime Heavy Armor.
That's correct.
How many members are there?
It's kind of a moving target. Actual members who are costumed is probably in the area of 20, but we have many people that come out who help us out in some of the charity events. That's what we do. And that number can be huge.
So this con, is this something you guys wait for every year? Is this something that's really exciting, or is it just another event?
No, we've been to other cons, but Hal-Con we consider to be our home con. This is where we met, the guys who formed Maritime Heavy Armor, and it's the end of our season. So we look forward to this one where we can get together and just discuss what happened over the season for us.
Is there a website that people can go to?
There is maritimeheavyarmor.webs.com, and we're available on Facebook as well.
I want to say thank you very much, Mr. Master Chief. I appreciate it, and you guys enjoy the rest of the con. I'm here with Larry Hama. Sir, your card here says penciler, writer, colorist, letterer, editor, whatever. What would you consider your whatever to be?
Musician, actor, whatever.
Excellent, excellent. What's your favorite character to draw?
Snake Eyes.
Really? Yeah, that's is one of my favorite characters growing up too. So that's exciting to hear. In the very beginning of comic drawing, what made you get into that?
I don't know. I drew as a kid. I just kept drawing.
And it just sort of turned into a profession out of a hobby?
No.
No. You were passionate about it, and it just sort of came to be.
I never had a passion about it. I wanted to be a fashion designer. When I got out of the Army, I needed a job, and a friend of mine said, I'm drawing comics, let's start a studio, and I'll ink and you pencil. And I thought, well, I'll do that for a while, and then one day I woke up and 40 years had gone by. So.
Well, there you go. That's about as good an answer as you can get, I guess. I'm a big fan of your work, and I keep doing it. Like I grew up with G.I. Joe. I grew up with comic books and all that. So thank you very much for me and the rest of the fans for sticking it out for 40 years, not even knowing.
Right. Well, that's how life goes sometimes.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much for taking the time with us. I am here with a Deathwatch Space Marine from Warhammer, part of Maritime Heavy Armor. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm very well. Is that heavy? Like, I know you guys are Maritime Heavy Armor. That looks heavy.
It's 20, 25 pounds, I want to say.
Yeah, I actually heard, and I don't know if this is true, that you ran a marathon in this suit.
Yes, back on Father's Day, for the Prostate Cancer Canada's Father's Day walk, they do a 5-kilometer run walk. We did the 2.5K shortcut, and I took off the finish line in a sprint and made it a block and a half, and then charged in for the last block at a full sprint.
There you go, get all the photo ops.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Imagine that was slightly tiring.
Oh, yes, yes.
What is it made of, this suit?
Oh, well, the shoulders are actually made out of styrofoam, blue paneled insulation.
Okay.
I just made a box, cut, sanded them in the shape. Chest is actually a plastic. It's a sheet plastic.
That's really hard.
Oh, yeah. And everything else, foam floor tiles from Canadian Tire, Walmart.
Like those little kiddie tiles that you let your kids play on.
It's those kids' tiles or like the gray ones, like the actual shop ones. It's those.
Wow. So it's not quite as heavy as it looks, except for this thing. That's heavy.
It's just all the way to the chest.
Yeah, that's crazy. What was your favorite part of the con so far then?
Oh, it's just walking around and interacting with people. Like posing for pictures, just seeing smiles on people's faces. And
this is a hobby for you, right?
Oh, yes.
How expensive a hobby is it?
Once you get it...
Yep. That's John Dunsworth just walked through our set.
But it's once you get it figured out, it's not that bad. Like, especially if you're using like the foam floor tiles are like $10 for 16 square feet. And it's like you can do almost an entire thing of armor with that. And that's like $10 and like $10 in glue. So
there are guys that spend an exorbitant amount of money on some of these suits.
Oh yeah, like I've spent an exorbitant amount on this. Nowhere's close.
Do over.
Yeah, but
hey, yeah, we're recording this. It's all good. Do you have any advice for people who want to get into this?
It's just do research online. There's tons of blogs out there now. Just if you're good with Google Foo, you can find them, track down. Here in Halifax, like we're willing to help anybody who has questions on Facebook.
I want to thank you.
You're very welcome.
This has been awesome. So you got to meet John Rhys-Davies.
Yes, very excited about that.
You said he gave you a compliment. What did he say?
You said he gave us a compliment on the makeup on both of our costumes, actually. Yes, we had.
So you're saying he complimented her because she did all the makeup?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I'm here with Pig Monkey.
Lord High Pig.
Lord High Pig Monkey. Forgive me, sir.
Say it right.
I better say it right. This is the man behind Geeks vs. Nerds. So, if you ever want to have a really good night out, especially here in Halifax, look for their events, geekversusnerds.com. Yes. Correct?
Geeks versus VRSUS. Spell it out. If you
the
put
whole
VS,
word.
You're not going to find us.
Geeks vs. Nerds, how did this start?
It started in the basements of houses of geeks everywhere. It started around fires in the Stone Age when two men were sitting around a fire saying, "Who do you think would win, a cave bear or a saber-toothed tiger?" And that's where it began. People have been arguing this stuff forever. Oh, no worries.
That's all right. That's
okay.
Brian Downey.
Yeah, we got somebody famous to walk across our interview.
You're funny. You've done some improv things. You and I actually worked on some improv stuff together before, with the Improvateers a little bit with the Pudding Room.
Mm-hmm.
So other than Geeks vs. Nerds, what are you, Lord High Pig Monkey, what are you working on?
Geeks vs. Nerds pretty much takes up most of my time. I do a bit of stand-up here and there. I'll do improv. That's just fun stuff to do. But between recording Geeks vs. Nerds, writing Geeks vs. Nerds, editing Geeks vs. Nerds, and making sure that it's up on the internet, Geeks vs. Nerds is really my main focus. But I do love to do stand-up because I like to make jokes.
I know this about you.
Yes.
You are quite funny, I think.
Thank you.
There are some whom you're probably offending that don't think you're funny, but that's the nature of comedy, and don't ever stop because somebody said they're offended.
I wouldn't. I consider offending somebody, meaning that I got really too close to something that they feel passionate about. And that's kind of what Geeks versus Nerds is arguing about stuff that you're passionate about.
What is the vote right now? You guys have a vote on your table about who's What is it right now? Oh, it's still this one. Okay, because first thing this morning it was...
We're just finishing up. We're going to start the next one, which is Wolverine versus Drizzt Do'Urden.
They've been doing this all day, and people have been tallying up points. Like, what was the first thing this morning? Who was the bigger badass?
Batman or Boba
Batman
Fett?
and Boba Fett. That's right.
That's our classic argument. That's the argument that began Geeks versus Nerds.
That's fair. It's Batman. But anyway.
I agree, but there is a match that would disagree with you.
That's fair.
We've had on the East Coast, we've had Batman win once and Boba Fett win once, and on the West Coast, they've had Batman win once. So.
Well, see, that's two out of three. But all I'm saying here is that it's Batman. Anyway. Boba Fett is badass. Do not get me wrong. Boba Fett is badass.
He is. He's known throughout the universe for being an intergalactic bounty hunter. People who travel the universe go to Batman to solve their problems.
That is a fact.
That's a fact. Keep arguing. Don't give up. Ever. Never let somebody tell you they're right or wrong. We settle it, but you could still argue it.
I'm here with Fat Apollo at Hal-Con 2012. How are you?
I'm doing great. Big crowds.
It's huge, and you were involved very heavily in the planning of this.
Well, you know what? I'd like to claim that I was. I'm more the goodwill ambassador as the local celebrity. I mean, the planning committee and the co-chairs and the volunteers are the ones that have really made this happen. If you look at all the green shirts and the yellow shirts, no red shirts, no Star Trek red shirts.
Those are expendable
They're
people.
Expendable. None of our volunteers are expendable, and it just shows you the work that's gone into this.
Where did the name Fat Apollo come from?
Well, if you watch the new Battlestar Galactica, the guy who plays Apollo, Jamie Bamber, is a very attractive man, not unlike myself. And what happens is when the Cylons stop attacking, he becomes fat. So he puts on this big fat suit and becomes this heavy guy. Then an episode later, they have him in the gym where he's back to being like totally cut. And he says to Hilo, he goes, "Don't let me get fat again." So the Fat Apollo character comes from that time period when Fat Apollo was fat.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Also, you're a local celebrity.
Yes, sir.
How did you become a local celebrity?
I just decided I would like to be a local celebrity.
That's what I thought.
Well, you know, a lot of it is just like being involved. You know, I've been lucky enough to, I was voted sexiest person in Halifax.
Yes, I did read that.
By the Coast magazine, and the Coast Awards are coming up again, November 1st.
We're aware.
And I probably will be there for something again.
Oh, you have an in somewhere.
That's right. You've got a scoop. You've got a scoop.
Is this exclusive? You're not telling anybody else that, right?
No, just you, man.
Awesome. So it's on Halifax exclusive. He's winning something at the Best of Halifax.
Yeah, and if I don't win, I'll steal.
Well, hey, that's still winning if you end up with the award in the end.
I think what it is, too, you know, I don't do anything. I do everything for charity. Like, I've got that chocolate bar down at Sugar, which is an amazing chocolate bar, by the way. It's milk chocolate and potato chip. Fantastic. It's our #1 selling chocolate bar. Partial proceeds go to the Progress Center for Early Intervention of Childhood Education, which is a wonderful local charity.
What's been your favorite part up to this moment?
Well, I'm glad you said up to this moment, because this would be my favorite part. I would say that probably my favorite part is actually meeting the other people that have come here. I do several conventions. I've been over to AtlanticCon at Corner Brook, Sci-Fi on the Rock in St. John's, and meeting the people, just the people who are here as fans. And I don't mean just of me. I mean of everything. It's just so exciting. And to see the costumes. Hal-Con is considered one of the most heavily costumed events in North America. There's a higher percentage of people in costumes here than pretty much at any other con in North America.
Yeah, we don't have the raw numbers like the hundreds of thousands of people or whatever it is. You know, like they get Comic-Con and DC Con and all that stuff. Yeah. But we do have, like, you're right, it's a percentage-based thing, and holy crap are their costumes.
There's a lot of costumes, and you know what? Every time you think you've seen everything, along comes Drunk Thor, or Magic Max Seller, or, you know, the weirdest things, and that's what makes it so much fun are the mashups that, you know, when you do the costuming, you've got two choices. You either go hyper-realistic, or you go crazy, right?
Well, that's fair, and if you're on a budget, crazy works.
Oh, crazy works, and I mean, crazy wins prizes. You don't want to date crazy, but you want to dress crazy.
Are you one of the judges in the costume contest?
No, I haven't been asked to be a judge. So I don't mind that. I like watching. I don't like making the tough decisions.
Are you going to enter the costume contest as Fat Apollo?
As a guest, I am prohibited from entering. It's a big con with a friendly Halifax feel.
So now we are on the gaming floor of Hal-Con 2012, and I am standing with Rachel Craig, who is running one of the games. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm very well. How long have you been here? Were you here yesterday too?
I was here yesterday. I'm one of the key game floor volunteers, so I'm here all weekend.
Sounds good. How many games have you run so far?
I couldn't tell you.
Lost count already. Excellent. And we're only halfway through the day today. So I got a question. You're going to run a game here in a couple of minutes. What's it called?
That's right. I'm demoing Ultimate Werewolf. So this is a party game for 10 players or more. The goal is to, if you're a villager, to either lynch all the werewolves, and if you're a werewolf, your goal is to eat all the villagers. So it's a game of lying and strategy and reading each other's tells. You want to identify all the werewolves before they eat you, or you want to kill all the villagers before they identify who you are.
It sounds terrifying.
It's intense.
So is it card based? Is it or anything like that? You got some cards here.
Yeah, so the villagers get different roles. They'll have a secret card with their identity, and they'll have a special power associated with that they're going to play throughout the game. They're going to use that to try and identify the werewolves. The werewolves have a set card that looks like this, and
they eat people.
And they eat people. So the way it works is that the village will go to sleep, and the werewolves wake up in the night when everyone else has their eyes closed. And you want to subtly choose a villager to kill without anyone feeling you moving or.
Feels very Mafia.
It is actually. It's based on the same psychological game as Mafia was. So it just kind of expands on that.
I feel like I could play that game. How long does it typically take to run a game?
Sometimes they go really fast, 5 minutes. Longest half an hour. Average game is about 10-15 minutes.
So it's really easy to play, really easy to get in and out of a game.
Very easy to play, very easy to learn, difficult to master.
Ooh, there you go. That's pretty deep. So there's a whole bunch of other games. I saw a lot of Warhammer when I walked in. I think I saw some Magic the Gathering around here somewhere. Is that Sorry? No, I'm kidding. Small World. There's a whole bunch of games. How many volunteers does it take to run this floor right now?
Oh, gee. I think there might be about 50 gaming volunteers working different shifts. We've got a lot of people who put in a lot of time, particularly with the tournaments. The Magic tournament takes a lot of organization. So do the role-playing games that we have going on over there. Obviously, Warhammer 2 is a lot of work. And assembling our board games library, you can see in the background. Yeah,
I saw. Wow, there's a lot of games back there on that shelf, man. Holy crap. I'm now talking to Bane. How's it going, Bane?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm very well. I noticed you're playing some Settlers of Catan over here against your arch nemesis, Batman.
Yes, I am, sadly.
How does it feel? Is he winning?
Yes.
He's actually winning? Batman always wins. Come on.
He currently has a ton of sheep.
He has a lot. Batman has a lot of sheep. That's something you will only hear at Hal-Con. Here comes Batman. Batman just entered. Come on over here, guys. Hi, Batman. How does it feel to be comrades with Bane?
Well, he broke me a piece of his Kit Kat bar so we could share it.
And that's all it took for reparations?
Yeah, my back feels okay. This man in a prison, he just punched me in the back and I was fine.
Oasis, epic sports pub, where you don't have to spend a lot to get a lot.
I'm here with Halifax Circus, who just finished performing an amazing show. That was very entertaining, guys. Thank you very much for that. I have a quick question. What is that?
I'm Finn the Human from Adventure Time. This is my buddy Jake.
That's awesome. I still don't know what that means. Yeah.
Cartoon you've ever heard of.
Best cartoon I've never heard of. Fair enough. He called it out. My cameraman Josh here. I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "It's from Adventure Time, man. Like I should know."
Good one, Josh.
I don't watch a lot of cartoons these days. You know what? I'm gonna have to go investigate. So have you all been circus people for a long time, or what?
I was a gymnast for 11 years and then got introduced via my ex-drama teacher, now best friend, co-circus entertainer, Kristen. And I've been in it for almost 2 years now.
I learned to juggle when I was 10 and have just been dabbling up until a couple years ago when I was introduced to Halifax Circus.
You taught drama?
Yeah, I've done circus. Actually, me and Zach were in our first beginner aerials class about 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah. As far as Hal-Con is concerned, when I heard that Halifax Circus was a sponsor and coming to Hal-Con, and I was like, okay, fair enough, circus. I didn't understand how you guys were going to connect that. And then I just watched Link kill Scorpio from Mortal Kombat, and I just thought that was pretty awesome and pretty epic. Was that something you guys have been planning for a long time, or?
All of these acts have been designed and created especially for this event. So yeah, we've been rehearsing and creating acts for a few months now.
I want to thank you guys for taking the time to talk to me. Do you have another, an easy trick you can pull off here for the exclusive, or no? Probably not, eh?
Yeah, we could do some things.
Dragon.
That's okay. I'm gonna get out of the way. Let's. We're about to see Dragon. Hand me a leg. I don't think I've ever heard that. Hand me a leg, Batman says. Thanks, guys. Oh, there's more. Oh, my God. I'm going to step back here. Can I just say Batman is a tank? That is all on Batman's feet. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that. I am here with René, who is a.k.a. Odo. How did you get the role as Odo in the first place?
I auditioned for it. I went in and I met the producers, the writers, the director, and they liked what I did and they offered me the role.
It's a very unique role in that for most of the series, you're the only one of you. It was very, very cool that way. So it was very important, I think, that character be very unique. And you did a really good job, as far as I'm concerned, of being very unique. What challenges was there for you not having other characters to sort of play off of and relate to?
Well, actually, that was the thing that I found most interesting about the character, was that he didn't know if there were any others like him anywhere else in any other universe. And in the beginning, when people would say, "Oh, I hope Odo finds out where he's from," I would say, actually, I hope I don't find out where I'm from. So, as it turned out, it was very interesting. It's a fascinating character that I found very challenging and interesting to play for all 7 years.
When they did find out, who your people were, they were the bad guys. That's a pretty interesting twist. What was your take on that?
I thought that was terrific, and at that point, I knew that when the series ended, my character would have to go back to his planet, because he was sent out really as a sort of a paranoid search, but in the end, he went back to be the conciliator, and I think that was the perfect ending for the character.
Did you get any of the say in the character's development at all, as in the writing or anything, or was it just sort of something that was thrust upon you and you sort of, as an actor, just dealt with it?
Well, as an actor, you're only you have no control over the storyline, and you shouldn't have. I'm not the writer, I'm the actor. I interpret the music. But that being said, the music started to be written for my instrument. So in the beginning, the writers had very specific idea about the character. but then once they heard my voice and my way of playing it, it began to color the development of the character. But that's the only way that an actor really influences what happens to the character.
How happy are you about cons such as like conventions like this one, like Hal-Con, that sort of thing? How excited are you that people, even after the series is done, are still in love with the character and still really appreciate you and your work?
Well, I think it's a real tribute to Star Trek in general that the stories have such resonance and that the audience continues to be interested in those stories. People come up to me here and they tell me that they've got all 7 years of the series and they still watch it and they're still moved by it, and that's a terrific thing to hear.
Is Deep Space Nine your favorite of the Star Trek series, or do you have a favorite in the as far as like the original Star Trek, the Next Generation? Or do you have a favorite?
What a silly question. I think that Deep Space Nine, for my taste, is the darkest and most complex. I'm often told by people that it's the one that seems to hold up and doesn't seem to date as much because because of the very grittiness and darkness of it.
I want to thank you very much, sir, for helping us out.
Thanks for coming.
I'm here with Obi-Wan Kenobi, another visitor to the Hal-Con Convention. Sir, how are you doing?
Fine, fine. You can call me Ben.
I can call you Ben? Thank you. What's been your favorite part of the con up to this point?
Up to this point, well, I'm always here about the costumes. I mean, this has been an amazing, like our third year, and every year there's just, the costumes have been incredible. I came in the first year. Normally on Friday night I wouldn't have gotten into a costume. I had to get into a costume, otherwise I would have been out of place.
I'm here. There's some people that are putting some exorbitant amounts of money into their costumes as well as time.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, the thing is, you do what makes you happy. And if something that is going to be able to put on even once a year, maybe twice a year type of thing, it's an investment. It's something like somebody would put into their car or into their collection of something else. So it's part of the what we do.
And everybody gets to share that.
Exactly. And people come up and ask to take pictures, interviews, etc., etc. It's great.
Thank you very much.
Of course, be with you.
And you as well, sir. AJ Fry of Inner Space, the Space Channel. What have you seen at this con so far that's been different from other cons?
Different from other cons? I have not seen anyone upset or in a bad mood. I have only seen smiling, happy faces. I've seen amazing costumes. The vibe out here in Halifax and on the East Coast is just wonderful. And what's different from other cons for me is like the recognition of the people that I've seen year in, year out at this convention. This is my third Hal-Con. And it's awesome to get to see the people that I met that very first year, the people I met last year, and now meeting the new people that I'll get to meet again next year. How's that for an answer?
Perfect. This is my first year at this Hal-Con, covering it for It's on Halifax. What advice can you, as a person who's usually on this side of the mic, what advice can you give to people like me, where it's my first con, I'm going to be coming back next year? Right. What can you give me as a pointer?
Well, when you're doing interviews, you never want to ask your subject for advice. I
knew I was doing this wrong.
I don't know. I mean, be yourself. Listen to answers, I suppose. Do a little research. One thing that Mark Asquith, one of the producers at Space, told me when I was first starting out, Mark Asquith, king of Canadian sci-fi, never ask a question that you don't know at least one answer to. Because you might be caught off guard by an answer. The person, you might ask someone, how is your wife doing? Well, she passed away recently. You got to be careful. So do a little research before you do your interview so that you don't end up asking anything that embarrasses yourself.
Go Google.
Yeah, go Google, go Wikipedia, IMDb. Those are your best friends, but don't always trust them. So phrase your questions in such a way that you have an easy out,
Yeah. Fair enough. Now, I've been told by a couple other people that I've been talking to, John Rhys-Davies included, the number of people that are dressed up at this Hal-Con is a lot higher percentage-wise than any of the other cons he's been to.
Yes, I think that may have something to do with the spirit of the people here on the East Coast, Or also it is Halloween this week. So
It is a good time for it.
People are in the dressing up spirit. But I think it's the creativity of the people out on the East Coast, because some of the costumes that I've seen are just phenomenal. Given that, I've been to Comic-Con, I've been to Fan Expo, which is Canada's largest convention. In contrast, the number of people, the quality of the costumes here, vis-a-vis relation to the population, it's very impressive. Flabbergasting.
Year one to now, how has Hal-Con progressed?
Phenomenally. The first year was at the Lord Nelson. It was a rather small location. This is obviously at the Trade Convention Center.
Yeah, well done.
So there's more floor space. In fact, this year they've even added the third floor for gaming. Awesome location, by the way. Love me some games. It's gotten bigger. The guest list is great. But it's really the people that are all, the core people that I met that first year that are still here, then that makes me want to keep coming back until I can't come back anymore.
Is there one event or one thing going on that you've seen on the itinerary that you just do not want to miss?
Well, it happened last night, and that was Geeks versus Nerds. I was a part of it. I was, which is the deadlier place to live? Sunnydale, of course, where Buffy lived. Gotham, where Batman lives, or lived until he left at the end of the last film, if you're going with the film universe. But I was Team Gotham, and we won.
Excellent. I want to see. There's a lot of. You're with Sunnydale. You're living on the Hellmouth. That's.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Gotham's greatest protector just left. He left with Catwoman and said, "You know what, Gotham, you don't need me anymore. I'm leaving you with Robin." Buffy could beat up Robin. Which is the deadlier place to live? Gotham.
That's. You know what? I concede, sir. I concede.
Thank you.
So thank you very much for taking some time to talk to us. AJ Fry of Inner Space. Watch it on Space Network. If you don't get it, go get it. Subscribe. I don't care how you get it. Just get it.
Or you can see clips at spacecast.com.
Boom. I'm sitting here with John Rhys-Davies. You're super famous, probably the biggest name here. You've been part of some major series. Indiana Jones, of course, Gimli. Everyone loves you as Gimli. I just saw you sign some guy who was dressed as you. I saw you sign his head. That was pretty epic. What's been your favorite part of the Hal-Con so far this year?
I just like meeting people. It's very hard to actually find out who your audience really is until you actually get the chance to meet them. And the Lord of the Rings, for instance, audience tends to be very, very bright. They've all either read the book or they saw the film and then went and read the book. And it's a huge bit of work to get through.
Yes, it is.
So it tends to act as a sieve, Those who see it and like it tend to be pretty smart.
So what about Indiana Jones fans that love you as Sala?
Oh, yeah. Well, the young lady you saw me talking to just a moment ago, she's a young archaeologist. She's studying archaeology. We had a chap in yesterday who's doing a dig in one of your sort of colonial type period forts. We get a lot of sailors, a lot of Navy men. We had a submariner here. Teachers, of course. A lot of sci-fi geeks, computer men and people like that. It's a fascinating arrangement of interested people. And they tend to be hugely friendly, very well informed, very impressive.
Do you get many people asking you? Because my first question when I was like, oh, he's going to be there, I want to ask you about sliders.
Oh, you know how to hurt.
Is that a sore spot or?
Still a sore spot. Normally, you throw up your hands and move on, but Sliders could have been the best show on television. We could have gone anywhere, anytime, and we ended up just rehashing other films and things like that. We did the Tremors episode. We did the Night of the Living Dead. We did Species. We did, the Morlocks and the Eloi. We did iRobot. You name it. There wasn't a story that they didn't steal from. And I worked with real writers with real ideas, and it depressed me utterly.
What about working with Jerry O'Connell? For him going from like My Secret Identity to suddenly Sliders.
Well, I love Jerry. He's such a great guy. The cast, the crew, and indeed some of the writers were nice people. It's just that we we had such limitless opportunities, and we wasted them, we squandered them, and that really upset me actually.
Well, that's. I did not expect to get that answer. I'll have to be honest. But you're right. It was very much like those episodes were all stealing from other ideas, and then there was the idea of those other aliens that could also.
This is the Cro-Mags.
Yeah.
Well, the Cro-Mags was a good idea, and it could have, it was worthy of 1 or 2 episodes. But when it becomes the only idea, unfortunately, I got shown that about the week before I managed to get myself fired. And I did. Oh, you've no idea how hard it is to get fired from a television show.
I really don't.
You have no idea, because once you make it clear that you want to go, they want to hang on to you even more. You have to be very rude.
Getting fired from a TV series 101 with John Rhys-Davies.
Well, you've got to be consistently critical. You've got to be, John, why won't you say the words that we have written? Well, let's have a look at this sentence. Could you show me where the verb is in that? Is there a subject to that sentence? Do you actually understand that you do not put a pair of glasses on an atomic bomb in order to make it work? That when they use the term spectacles, they are talking about using metals of different densities to make sure that the neutrons all get to the same spot at the same time. I'll tell you what, when you can write as well as I can improvise, I'll say your words.
And you're fired.
No. It goes on for weeks after that. Oh yeah, but anyway, that was the gist of things. Anyway, though I'm delighted to say that one of my improvisations that wasn't in the script actually earned one of the writers a prize from a population group for its interesting take. He won $10,000 off it.
And he didn't even write it. That's fantastic. So, okay, I want to ask you anything else about sliders, because apparently that's pushing buttons. So you're not short.
Well, I wasn't, but I'm shrinking.
Well, fair. But you play a dwarf.
I do. I spent a lot of time on my knees, and that was after getting the job, Oh, it's an old actor joke. Pay no attention to it. But actually, technically, I was in those days the tallest member of the fellowship. But I broke my back on a film set 10 years ago, and I'm developing a little bit of scoliosis and shrinking a little bit. So I may not be the tallest member of the fellowship now.
They're making The Hobbit now. Is there any possibility that you'll be involved in that trilogy at all?
I've groveled enough, but I don't think it's going to happen. I turned it down many years ago. But imagine turning up on the set and seeing that those devils have half the makeup, quarter of the makeup that I had on for Gimli. I was miffed, mighty miffed.
Okay, I don't know if I have any more questions that aren't going to make him angry. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me, sir. You've been excellent and a delight. Anytime you want to come down to Halifax, feel free. You can call us up. We'll be your guides around town if you want to learn anything about the city.
Well, I'd love to. I'm not going to have much time to spend in Halifax this time, but I will come back in a few years' time, and I'll bring my wife and my baby daughter, and we'll explore.
It's been a long day, guys. It's been a long day. I talked to AJ Fry, John Rhys-Davies. I talked to Odo. I'm getting too tired to be here. You need to come to see this next year. If you've never been to Hal-Con, which I have never been until this year, you need to come. I'm coming next year. You should be here too. We'll see you then. Until then, check out itsonhalifax.ca, facebook.com/itsonhalifax, as well as check us out on Twitter, It's On Halifax. I made it very easy for you. I'm your host, Mark Adam. I'm also on Twitter, MarkAdamHFX.
This episode of It's On Halifax was brought to you by A2 Canada and Oasis on Spring Garden Road.